One of the things that keeps us from talking to each other, one of the things that keeps us silent, is the notion that we hear all the time from each other and from the media that we're all a bunch of stupid zombies who can easily be mind controlled, which I don't really buy because I've never really met a zombie. But we talk to each other like we're stupid because you don't know, like Keystone Pipeline, the Keystone Pipeline protesters are here. I don't know anything about that, so I have to go over there and let them explain it to me because that's the way I operate. Or I click on links if there's a cat picture and it tricks me into it. So I hope that you learn something while you're here. I hope you pay attention, and you also have the opportunity to get involved in a lot of activism that's happening right now and bringing about actual, real change. Donna Bebo is running for Congress right now, so every time I say, like, I'm working on a campaign, or I made phone calls for her and I was like, I'm calling for Bebo for Congress, people were like instantly, I'm not interested, because all they think is like she's a politician, obviously, and we know that politicians are full of crap and crooked and bought by corporations. Do we all know that? Politicians, our politicians working in our interest most of the time? I mean, we kind of had, I may be wrong because I am in my own little media bubble, my liberal hippie media bubble, but I'm pretty sure everybody knows that our system is corrupted by money. And we've known for a long time as a nation not to trust politicians. What I don't get is we just accept that, like it's some kind of natural thing. Yeah, they're just dishonest. It's, you know, impossible. That's the way it's always going to be. So anyway, it's when I say Bebo's, I'm working for Bebo, people are like, I don't want to talk, but the cool thing about her is I met her at a rally that she had organized for MoveOn.org. And then I saw her bring food to the occupiers in OKC. And I saw her stand beside the U.S. Postal Service workers here in this town when they were doing the Save the U.S. Postal Service. And I've seen her now, even though now, well, while she is campaigning, in the Pride Parade and at several union actions. So she's an activist to me, but she's also my future congressman because she's right here from Comanche County, and we're going to help her defeat Tom Cole. So here she is.
I think that's the first time I've ever been introduced by someone saying politicians are crooks. I love Terry. Now, a couple days ago, people across our nation joined together with fireworks and fanfare and red, white, and blue to celebrate some troublemakers. Some men that cared enough about being able to have free speech to stand up for it. And they even had the audacity to envision a government that listened to people as they exercised their free speech. Now today we gather with all of our different messages to practice the ultimate level of patriotism by exercising our First Amendment rights. Now, not all of us will agree on every issue, but wouldn't it be boring if we all did? So we shouldn't be afraid of our differences, and we shouldn't shun those who have different views. We shouldn't be afraid of words that don't match those that come out of our mouth. We should be proud that we live in a country where we can all gather peacefully and share our thoughts and ideas, and where every election year we can have a bloodless revolution. Now, I'm especially happy to be here today because, as Terry hinted to, my campaign began by me exercising my First Amendment rights. I was contacted by some activists up in Norman that were having an action with MoveOn.org, and they were going to visit our 4th District Representative's office and share with him their concerns about cuts to Social Security and Medicare. They wanted to do the democratic thing, the American thing, and have their voice heard. So I was all for it. But I talked to a lot of people in Lawton, and either for financial reasons or because they couldn't get time off work, they weren't able to make it up to Norman. Well, our representative has an office in Lawton too, so I fixed that. I got a hold of people, Terry got a hold of people, and we organized our own sister rally right here in Lawton. And I made a promise to our representative. Even though he wasn't there that day, we left him messages. And I said that if he failed to remember who he worked for, I was going to do absolutely everything in my power to make sure that he did not have a job anymore. That's what my campaign is seeking to do. I didn't have that intention at the time. I was fired up. I knew I was going to do something. People suggested that I run, and I said, I'm not going to run. I'm not a politician. Politicians lie, right? Everybody knows you can't trust a politician. And a very wise woman said, that's why we need you. We've had politicians. We need people. So we need to send a message, not just to our representative, but to all of Congress. If you fail to represent us, we will send one of our own. Now, in the spirit of this event, I will spare you all from my political stump speech. And I want to share a little personal story, give you some insight into my family and my background regarding respecting differences and freedom of speech and expression. Now, they say opposites attract. Anyone that knows my family knows that that's the understatement of the century. My husband is an avid hunter. I'm a vegetarian. My husband was a conservative when we met. He's getting a little more progressive. I'm about as progressive as they come. My husband loves the outdoors. I get hives when I go to Lowe's garden section. He loves John Wayne movies, and I like Doctor Who marathons. Thank you. So, we absolutely should not work as a couple. There's no reason that we should be together. The only thing that we have in common, besides the fact that we love one another, is that we're both extremely stubborn. And we don't try to change one another. We compromise. We find ways to appreciate and respect each other's differences. We have a double grill. And when we have cookouts, I have my veggies on one side and he has his burgers on the other. And we make it work. And he hangs up his elk in the living room, and as long as I don't have animals in any rooms that I cook or sleep in, we're good. So when I say that we should respect each other's differences, and that we should listen, even when there are things that are hard for us to hear, it's not just lip service. I'm not just someone putting it out there. I mean it because I live it. And I think that that's one of the things that is wonderful about this event today. We can hear others' ideas. We must never fear those who are different from us. And we must never fear words that are not our own. In a democracy, silence is the only thing that we really have to fear. Thank you. And if anyone is interested in the political stuff that would have been in my stump speech, I'll be happy to talk to you over at my table, and we have some campaign literature. Thank you.